All right, guys, welcome back to another trade review. I took about 4 trades on day. I'm pretty sure 2 of them were on SPY for over like 70%, which is insane, and the other was on Tesla for about 40% for puts. Both like most of them were for puts towards the downside, right? And the last one was on SPY for VWAP rejection. It was a small loss of like 10%, I'm pretty sure. But I want to show you exactly how you can implement this in your trading. I mean, honestly, I can go on about my day, not really care, but I'm doing it for the person on the other side of the screen. So let me be the one to teach you this. The only reason why I've been able to survive the market is because a couple things. Taking the same setups over and over again, right? Seeing the same setups, but different versions of them. Yeah. I made about $1,500 today. I keep my winners big and my losers small. And how I do that is having a tight stop loss. If the stop loss is too wide, the risk is too much. And that's some of the best advice I'll give you right now. So let's get into it. So every day, what I do, just mark out the pre-market high and pre-market low, right? On both names. So I'm gonna be showing you SPY first though. Okay. So just mark out the pre-market high and pre-market low. What I want to see is a breakout below or above the pre-market session, because that's initially where the real trend will start at, bro. Okay. But I want to keep this in mind. SPX. Today's first trade was on SPX where explosive level bounce. So where the market open right now? Where's the market gonna open? All right, market open exactly over here. So we do have an explosive level sitting right here on top, which is 7,450, right? Just mark out the $2 move towards the upside and towards the downside, right? Get you there. Get you as accurate as possible. So the middle number will always be the explosive level. So explosive levels are just basically every $50 move, right? Every $50 move to $100 move, right? So an example would be 7,450, right? This would be explosive level. Next level would be 7,500, right? 7,500 would be an explosive level. 7,550 would be an explosive level. 7,600 would be an explosive level. The $100 move. 7,650, the $50 move. 7,700, which is the $100 move, right? So I know a lot of you guys don't really understand what explosive level is. It's just basically a rejection place, right? So if we're pushing towards the upside, right, like we are right now, we're gonna take it towards the downside for a rejection, right? If it's pushing towards the downside, we're gonna take it for a rejection for calls. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Simple as that. All right. So for the first 30 minutes to market open, I'm on a 2-minute time frame. Okay, I'm on a 2-minute time frame. So from 9:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm on a 2-minute time frame. Okay, and then after 10 a.m. EST, I'm on a 5-minute time frame after that. Okay, and after 10 a.m., once it's 11 a.m., that's where I'm on a 10-minute time frame. Okay, so just keep that in mind for now. So first 30 minutes to market open is all the way over here. Is like around, yeah, right here, like over here. So check this out. We're pushing towards the upside. A lot of momentum for buyers, right? A lot of momentum for buyers. All right. Momentum seems to slow down. So when you see an explosive level, let's say on SPY or SPX like this one right here, what you want to see is momentum slowing down, right? Momentum to slow down. So it could be either for QQQs. QQQs, you always have to have QQQs open when you trade SPY or QQQs, right? Or SPX. You always have to keep those open. SPY, QQQs, SPX, you have to keep like those open, bro. The most important ones, right? If they're not moving together, there's going to be a divergence. You're not going to be able to trade it. Okay. So as you can see on QQQs, look at the seller candles right here on the volume chart, right? You see momentum is like ceasing to slow down. The seller candles are much more bigger than the buyer candles. And that was one of the confluences that I had for this explosive level play. So I got into the zone, as you can see, right? So all you want to see, 5-minute time frame. So once this candle forms, or meanwhile this candle forms, you can watch out for the price action, right? If it sells off below the explosive level right here, you can enter the play for puts, especially right here. Once it gets below, you can enter the play for puts, right? So I entered this trade for about 5 contracts, right? At that point, I was up like about like $200. It wasn't that bad of a trade, bro. It was like 70%. Yeah, not too bad. So look how the trade went. I initially took profits at the VWAP. I was already up like about $200 on the day. And then what was the next trade? The next trade was on Tesla, because Tesla was selling off a lot, right? So I'm pretty sure this is like around 7 a.m. PST. Okay. So early morning, I was watching a trade on Tesla towards the downside for this PC candle setup. Where's the PC? I'm pretty sure it was this one, bro. It was like it was very, very wide. I didn't really like it, right? So I'm gonna go in the 5 minute time frame because it's already 7 a.m., 10 a.m. EST, right? So every setup will look different, bro. Like the PC candle setups, the Pac-Man candle setups will look different. So I'm gonna give an example of what a Pac-Man candle is, because most of the time you guys keep on asking me, yo, well, what's a Pac-Man candle? What's a Pac-Man candle? What's a contain candle, right? So all you want to see is just a breakout above or below, right? So, but in this scenario, you're going to be pushing towards the downside since it's a downside setup, put setup, right? So you're pushing below, nice low trend, weak low trend, right? So all you want to see is a contain candle. Let's say like this, right? Meanwhile, it doesn't break below the previous candle's low. It's a contain candle. Okay. It doesn't matter if it breaks above, but if it breaks above, the PC candle is going to be way too wide. The stop loss is going to be way too wide. It could either look like this, or it could look something like this. Where's the square again? All right, square. It could look something like this, right? You could set your stop loss above the previous candle, right? On this candle right here, right? And you'd be entering on this candle once it breaks below with the business breaking. Okay? That's the only thing. So in this case right here, this is a PC candle. But why? Because it doesn't break below the previous candle's low. Once this candle forms, the next candle is what matters. This candle. Meanwhile, it doesn't break below. It's a contained candle. Meanwhile, it doesn't break below. The next candle doesn't break below the previous candle. It's a contained candle. Meanwhile, the stop loss is tight. Right? So in this case right here, you have a PC candle. So at this point right here, the stop loss is way too crazy, no? So I waited for the next candle. I thought I was gonna break below. I was gonna enter on that trade either way. So now look at this. There's a nice little Pac-Man candle right here. So it didn't break below. Now the stop loss is much more tighter right here at this current state. So what you can do at this current moment, mark out your little trend line, right? And once breaks below the previous wick right here, you could count for 5 seconds. Meanwhile, the business break. Okay. So there's another thing. A lot of you guys ask me like, what's business breaking? What's business breaking? But a lot of the times, there's like different names that move differently, bro. So SPY and QQQs, they move similarly. The business moves similarly. Okay. But Tesla's a high cap stock. Like Meta's a high cap stock. AMD's a high cap stock. So the spread is a little bit different. The business are a little bit different. So check this out over here. The business are essentially over here. These two right here. Middle number is the spread. So all you want to see, usually for sellers, it looks something like this. The look at it is way wider. So it's 327.11, right? So there's a cent spread difference, bro. So at this current moment, how much does it have? So the spread difference is essentially 0.13, right? So this is the spread right now, 0.13. So at this current moment, what you want to see is the spread to get tighter and tighter. So essentially, let's say 0.10. This would be the bids breaking a little bit, but essentially you want to see it get below even further. So probably like 0.02. That's the bids breaking right there. 0.01 bids breaking. 0.04, right? 0.05. That's the bids breaking right there. If the spread is way wider, that means that the buyers are comfortable, right? Buyers are comfortable and want to keep the prices keep on pushing towards the upside, right? If it's selling off, then the bids will be breaking. Okay. So that's what I mean. If the bids are breaking at this current moment, once it gets into your zone. So the zone right now is currently 326.98. If the bids break below the zone, count for 5 seconds. And if it confirms, and it breaks, you're gonna be entering on this play towards the downside. This is initially where we enter towards the downside, like near here, like near 326.8. Sorry, I couldn't see. So we caught this whole move towards the downside. I'm pretty sure I answered like about what, like 10 contracts. It wasn't that bad, bro. And when the contracts were about up like maybe like $50 a contract, it was nice, bro. Like about 40%. I wasn't able to catch this whole play towards the downside. I sold off like at this last candle over here. Because I kept on taking profits, kept on taking profits, kept on taking profits on the next levels that we had. Okay. So does that make sense? PC candles, contain candles, different kinds of setup, right? All right. Let's go. And then the last trade was on SPY towards the downside. What I had first in mind was a SPY rejection for calls. So essentially, if it makes a new low day, it tries to make a new low day. I'm pretty sure it was on this candle. I decided to, like, I wanted to. I didn't enter, but I wanted to. QQQ's made a new low day. SPY did not make a new low day. I was just waiting for SPY to make a new low day, and then we could potentially take it towards the upside for a reversal. And just that this candle already went, I said, oh no, it's over already. It's over, right? So I just waited. Okay, it just made a new low. QQQs was selling off massively. So let me check this out over here. QQQs was selling off massively, right? It got retested off that ORB, and essentially the same thing happened on SPY, bro. It retested off the ORB. I waited for the next candle. I wanted to see if price action wanted to retest off that ORB, right? And this is a PC candle as well. It made a new low day. We're already below pre-market low. Yeah, we're below pre-market low, right? Retesting off that ORB, which is the first 15-minute candle high and low, right? Stop loss above previous candle, or let's say like near here above ORB, right? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Okay. So essentially, the first profit target that we did have was 737, and then it was like 737.5, which are psychological numbers, right? But we did have an explosive level sitting right there at the bottom, bro. So that was essentially the profit target. If you wanted to keep on pushing below explosive level, we had 7,400 right here at the bottom, right? So mark that out. So this is a massive, massive level, which it did flush. So at that current moment, like I'm pretty sure I entered like near 738.4 once I saw this candle like break, right? Show some sort of rejection. Okay. So initially I entered right there, waited for the trade to move. And then once it kind of got into the zone, it absolutely flushed. Okay. Okay. And then I'm pretty sure this last candle was the last candle that I took profits on. It was like 736.5, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 736.5 was the last profit target. Then it came back and then it kind of retested off that exposed lower right there, which is insane. And then later on into the day, it was the last trade. That's the last trade. And a SPY rejection of VWAP, bro. Okay. So I just waited for price action to get on VWAP. Show some rejection. And then we had a stop loss above the open price right here, right? I entered with about like 3 contracts. It wasn't that bad, bro. The stop wasn't that bad. And then it hit my stop loss, bro. Right? So these are really, really simple plays. Not really much to talk about. It's so repeatable, so easy. You gotta look for something, some sort of candle. Wait for a level to break. Wait for it to reach a level, right? And with these indicators, bro, you're actually gonna go nuts. Yeah. So this trade, it did not go, but later on to the day, it went, bro. So it was kind of like bad timing, but not bad trade, right? So if you did end up reaching the end of the video, I do want you guys to comment, like, let's say hi. Comment hi on this YouTube video so I know that you're watching it, bro. I want to see if you guys are actually watching these. And this will kind of like push me as well to see if you guys are actually watching these. Okay? So peace out.